I'm not saying it's wrong.
I found what was asked, but it's not the one I wanted to show. But anyway, that just does a really nice job.
Evidently, when I stand up here, everybody thinks it's time to get ready. So I want to thank you very much for coming out. My name is Shelby Melvin, President of Progressive Democrats at Hendricks County. As you may have seen on this slideshow, we formed our organization to get local candidates elected. And that's what we're trying to fulfill here today, is to introduce you to the candidates that are running for the 4th Congressional District, give you some time to get to know them. People submit some questions. Our moderator, Monique Hill-French, is here. She's going to be taking over here in a minute, giving you a little introduction to herself. I wanted to go ahead and, from left to right, introduce our candidates that are here. So we have Toby Beck, and we have Darren Greasy, and then we have Veronica Zool, Joe Mackey, and Roger Day. Unfortunately, Roland Ellis, who is on the rolls, who I don't think anybody has met, didn't get back to us, so they're not here, but everybody was given an equal opportunity today. We are promoting our lifetime membership. There's forms up front if anybody wants to get involved. We do have some upcoming events that we're looking to get volunteers and together with the local candidates so we can go canvassing. I know I heard 3 or 4 people were out there actually canvassing today, so that's wonderful on this first nice day of spring. All right, well, without further ado, I'm going to hand this over to Monique, and thank you very much for coming, everyone.
Good afternoon, everyone. What a great audience to have here today for this great debate for the 4th Congressional District. So my name is Monique Hill, and I have been involved in the Democratic Party in several ways. I'm on the Indiana Democratic Party Affirmative Action Committee. I am a part of the Indiana Democratic Emerging Leaders Program that just wrapped up. I'm a precinct committeeman for Wayne Township. I'm also the legislative chair for the Indiana Democratic African American Caucus in Indianapolis, and a part of the Wayne Township Democratic Club. So with my experience and also involvement as far as lobbying at the State House in several different ways, I am glad to be here and engage in this conversation. And so first, as we get started, we're going to give each candidate about 5 minutes to give their platform information, to allow them time to introduce themselves to you, so you can get to know them a little bit better before we start with the debate. So we're going to go ahead and get started, and we'll have Mr. Joseph Mackey start us off.
Good afternoon. I'm Joe Mackey. I'm running for the 4th Congressional District seat currently held by Todd Rokita. I have mounted in the last 15 months a campaign based on the issues affecting all of us and not just some of us. Healthcare is an issue in which we find ourselves priced out of the market. My wife and I manage a pediatric cancer foundation, and we find more and more that families are going without food, that co-pays are unaffordable. I can tell you by our own experience, having lost 2 children, our son Patrick's bill for his 8.5 months of treatment was $7.26 million. I had good insurance. I worked for a good company. My insurance paid $3.6 million of it, and we were handed a bill for the balance. Our daughter Claire went very quickly, and she was in the hospital 5 days, $650,000. Both my children died. So I encourage people to understand that no matter how well situated you believe you are regarding health care, you are a major illness away from being bankrupted. And this is happening across the entirety of the 4th Congressional District and around the country. And the stories are horrific. We talk about infrastructure and the fact that every dollar spent on infrastructure generates $3 in economic activity. And we are talking about a $2 trillion need, some 2 million new jobs. We talk about education, especially the education our rural children are suffering. According to the Indiana State Constitution, children have a right to equal opportunities in education. We are not meeting that. That is not an issue restricted to the 4th Congressional District, the state of Indiana. This is happening across the entirety of the country. I believe we can do better. I believe we can do better if we together focus our attentions on those issues affecting all of us and not just some of us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mackey. Mr. Day?
Hello, my name's Roger Day. Some of you already know me, some of you don't. After today, you'll get to know me a lot better.
Speak up, please.
Oh, I forgot to push a button. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Technology. I've been a Democrat my entire life. I became an active Democrat under Jimmy Carter's reign, president. How many here are progressives? Okay, welcome. I've been fighting for the progressive causes since before most of you were born. I was called a liberal, an elite liberal. I've been called a lot of things. I used to own a restaurant. People would come in and argue under the Reagan administration. They called me a lot of things. So I always won the argument, though, but it never changed any minds. I've been, the reason, my qualifications for running, which I'll tell you, I've been in the health insurance industry, was regional vice president for a national company. It was 29 states, so I guess it was a national company. I help people get health insurance, self-employed and small business people. I did a lot of good. I gave people that couldn't afford cochlear ear implants, I gave their son a cochlear ear implant, which wasn't covered by insurance. I saved a lot of women insurance that had fibrocystic breast disease, but just because they had cysts in their breast from drinking too much coffee, I got them insurance. I worked with the city, with the state government to change the law, to change us from an accept or reject state to a waiver state, which allowed thousands more people to be able to buy affordable health insurance with my company. We did give affordable, good health insurance to self-employed and individual people. Then our company got bought by this other little company called Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield. I wasn't able to do that anymore. So I retired. I walked away from that job because I wasn't helping people anymore. I was doing the Anthem job. I was using people. And I walked away from a six-figure income because of my values and what I believe in. And you know what? You want to know my values, just ask me. I'll be more than happy to tell you. But if you look on my website, you'll find out. I don't have the same values that a lot of other candidates here. I've had the same values for years. You can go down the list here: campaign, gerrymandering, healthcare. I've been against them all for a long time, longer than most of you have been alive. But my experience in the health insurance business, I have plans. All you have to do is ask me. I'll give you solutions instead of just telling you there's a problem. Also, I was, my wife back there, she's a teacher, been a teacher for 40 years. My oldest daughter's a teacher at Brownsburg High School. She's in Wayne Township, teaches 3rd grade. My youngest daughter's a teacher in preschool. I went to college with a secondary education English Lit major. So I know a little bit. My wife runs and owns a teacher's supply store right here in Avon, right behind the Arby's. If you ever need any supplies, go there. But, so I know a little bit about education too. I talked to my wife about it. I talked to my daughters about it. They've got a really good idea of what to make education better. So I've got solutions for that too. If you want to know, get on my website, because I can't tell everything here, and I'm here for a different reason tonight, to be honest with you. So that's my qualifications. In fact, I've been in business my whole life. I started in business fresh out of college because teaching paid me $17,200. And the job I had in college after my 5th year, I played football for 4 years. Didn't graduate in 4 years, played football. So my 5th year, I had to become a waiter at a steakhouse, and I made $22,500 as a waiter at a steakhouse, working 4 nights a week, and my opening job would have been at my old high school, Decatur Central, for $17,200. Needless to say, I went to the world of business, and I've been in business my whole life. So I've made payroll. I've helped hundreds, if not thousands of people with their health care. I've gotten rules changed. I've gotten laws changed. Working with the Republican, by the way, Mr. Tor from Carmel helped me get that law changed. So I've got probably more experience than anybody up here in that field, or in any field, education, working, meeting payrolls, dealing with people's lives. I used to own a restaurant, I had 32 women work for me. I helped with their lives and everything that I did. So that's why I wanted to be running. I ran 4 years ago, and me and the Democratic Party at that time just didn't get along. I was way too progressive. The reason I'm running here, because I came here last summer, you guys had a thing, oh, sorry. And there were so many progressives here, I thought, this is finally my time.
Thank you, Mr. Ms. Beck?
Good morning, afternoon. My name is Toby Beck, and I'm going to stand so I can see everybody in the back. I am a combat veteran, a foster parent, a security professional, and a technology professional, which means I direct a bunch of people who write software and break software and repair software. So I am running for a variety of reasons, one of which is I want a strong economy, and that economy is built through our middle class and our working class. And by lifting up our working class and building our strong middle class, everybody benefits. The entire economy benefits from it. I'm also looking for a number one thing that just about everybody can agree on. I want to get large corporate finances out of our elections. Specifically, I want to return elections to the people that are going to be represented. I'm running for a representative seat, and that seat needs to represent people, not corporations. I'm also looking to support my veterans. Veterans at one point signed a blank check to the United States for up to and including their lives. I think we can go ahead and pay back some of that debt. We're looking for a fair treatment under the law for everybody, for women, for people of color, for LGBTQ. Everybody has a fair treatment under the law and is treated appropriately. Now that category covers a number of things, but the item in here is a fair, solid treatment under the law. And also, having sworn to defend the Constitution of the United States, I wish to uphold it in every aspect, to provide every right to the people under the rights guaranteed under the Constitution, and uphold the law and dignity that's created within it. So again, my name is Toby Beck, and I hope we get your vote by the end of the evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Beck. Ms. Zoll?
There we go. Hi, I'm Veronica Zoll. Why I chose to run. Our current representative is basically a stain on the name of the town of Munster, Indiana. I was born and raised in that town. A number of years behind him, but nonetheless, he and I both graduated from Munster High. I remember reading a thing recently, and I was thinking about that, and it got me thinking, and I'm just going to run with that right now, that story. He's got his pilot's license, and I've mentioned this on my Facebook page, and, don't have a pilot's license, I have a driver's license. I don't fly a plane, I drive a nearly 20-year-old truck. But so he got his pilot's license when he was in high school, while his classmates were learning how to drive. And I stopped and thought about that, and I was thinking about that. Back when I was in high school, I tried out for the golf team, and I was on our high school golf team. And I wasn't good enough to be on the match team. But in order to practice with the team, we had to go out and practice on our own. Now, both of my parents worked, so I didn't have parents around to drive me around. So I got my golf bag on my back, hopped on my bicycle, rode across town to the next town over where there was a golf course, walked 18 holes of golf so that I could get my 2 9-hole days of courses, shots of golf, then rode my bike back home because I didn't have a driver's license and I didn't have parents to drive me there. So that tells you where I am in working class, middle class, growing up. I remember I had a paper route at age 13. I started working at age 13 with a paper route. When I turned 16 and I got my driver's license that summer, I worked for the town utility department, for the water department, exercising valves, doing the grounds maintenance around water tanks and pumping stations. That following when the fall, so my junior and senior year in high school, I worked